Welcome back to The Explainer. Today, I'm throwing on my medical researcher coat because we are going to systematically analyze the absolutely incredible therapeutic benefits of Gond Katira, which you might also know commercially as Tragacanth gum. We're going to look really closely at its unique botanical science, its clinical applications, and the highly specialized global trade behind it all. Now, before we even touch the clinical data, I want to throw a fascinating biological puzzle your way to frame our whole investigation. How exactly does a violent mechanical trauma to a wild, thorny desert shrub end up creating a botanical extract that perfectly shields and heals human digestion? It's a wild paradox, right? Keep that in the back of your mind as we go. Okay, let's dive right in. Here is our strict clinical breakdown for today. 1. The ancient botanical paradox. 2. The biphasic chemistry matrix. 3. Thermoregulation and digestive health. 4. Pharmaceutical and topical uses. And finally, 5. Artisanal versus industrial gums. We're literally tracing this substance from its harsh botanical origins all the way to modern pharmaceutical labs. Moving into Section 1, the ancient botanical paradox. Let's uncover the extremely harsh origins of this medicinal resin. Grounding us in the historical nomenclature first, these ancient names are just incredibly descriptive. Tragacanth comes straight from the ancient Greek words tragos for goat and acantha for thorn. It vividly describes the goat horn-like curled shape of the dried ribbons emerging from this thorny brushwood. And Gond Katira uses the Arabic root katra, which literally translates to droplet. What's so cool here is that classical scholars, like Avicenna, were observing and documenting exactly what modern chemistry is just now proving. To really get why this plant is so powerful, we have to look at the punishing environment of Western and Central Asia. The astragalus plant is forced to adapt some intense survival mechanisms. It's living in a highly arid, windswept, high-altitude mountainous plateau. We're talking extreme winter freezes, followed by searing, completely moistureless summers. To survive, it uses an aggressive, woody taproot system to hunt deep groundwater, and it protects itself with a dense canopy of vicious thorns to deter desert herbivores. Those extreme environmental stressors are exactly what prime this plant to produce such a potent compound. So here's the thing. Gond Katira isn't just a daily byproduct of the plant, it's an emergency response. When the shrub experiences mechanical root trauma, like a puncture or a deep incision to that lower taproot, it triggers this rapid exudation sequence. The trauma literally forces the internal medullary rays and pith cells to transform into a viscous, protective medicinal resin. It wells up to form a sort of botanical scab. Then, over 2 to 3 weeks, the extreme temperature cycles and dry desert heat rapid-fire the moisture loss, solidifying that exuded sap into highly stable, curled ribbons. So now we've got the raw ribbon gum. Let's take it into the lab for Section 2, the biphasic chemistry matrix, and deconstruct exactly why this stuff acts the way it does inside us. The crucial takeaway here is this rare biphasic hydration paradox. Standard water-soluble plant gums usually just dissolve into a clear liquid, right? But Gond Katira splits its actions. You have the basirin fraction, which makes up about 60 to 70% of its mass. Basirin is totally water-insoluble but hyperswellable, so it balloons into this dense, viscous hydrogel. Simultaneously, the tragacanthan fraction, the other 30 to 40%, dissolves cleanly, creating a highly stable colloidal fluid matrix. To put that physical performance into perspective, this biphasic structure provides unmatched water retention for clinical hydration. A tiny, minute portion of that basirin fraction can absorb 40 to 50 times its own dry weight in water. It literally creates this massive, crushed ice crystalline mass that becomes the cornerstone of its therapeutic utility. And underpinning both of those fractions is the galacturonic acid matrix. This structure is the absolute key to its pharmaceutical magic. Because it's bound with calcium, magnesium, and potassium salts, it contains complete pH stability even across highly acidic environments. This means it can shield active medicinal compounds and, crucially, your delicate gastric mucosa linings from being instantly destroyed by excess stomach acid. It is an absolute lifesaver for acidic environments. All right, Section 3. Let's transition from the chemistry lab to human biology and apply these properties to thermoregulation and digestive health. If we look at traditional Greco-Arab Unani medicine, Gond Katira is celebrated as a primary cold and wet therapeutic agent. Patients consistently report incredible symptomatic relief from heat-related ailments. When you use it as a natural cooling agent in traditional summer health drinks, it systematically lowers your core metabolic heat. That's exactly why it's clinically indicated for rapidly mitigating acute heat stroke, treating severe summer nosebleeds, and even alleviating those intense burning sensations in the palms and soles of your feet. Let's look at a brief hypothetical clinical scenario to see this in action internally. Imagine patient A, someone suffering from chronic digestive discomfort, specifically severe stomach acid friction and inflammation. When they ingest Gond Katira, that highly stable galacturonic acid matrix does not break down. Instead, the gel acts like a biological fire blanket. It physically coats the inflamed areas, creating a protective barrier for internal intestinal linings that shields the gastric tissue from further excess acid friction, literally allowing the gut to heal itself. Now consider patient case B. This person is struggling with erratic gastrointestinal motility, maybe swinging between constipation and loose stools. Here, the Bosorin fraction steps up. Because Bosorin structurally interacts with human stomach enzymes by completely resisting digestion, it physically acts as a highly effective, non-digestible mechanical bulk laxative. It absorbs fluid constantly as it travels, which helps maintain systemic hydration, provides long-lasting satiety, and brilliantly regulates your digestive transit times. Moving to section 4, we find that the efficacy of Gond Katira extends way beyond internal digestive relief. It plays a massive role in broader pharmaceutical and topical applications. Officially classified as the food stabilizer E413, this gum is heavily utilized by premium organic brands to create absolutely flawless textures in modern gourmet, vegan, dairy, and ice cream products. But externally, the gel acts as an elite topical serum. It's a clean, chemical-free structural binder that actually tightens the skin matrix and strengthens hair fibers for skin barrier health. And in medicine, it serves as a natural, time-release suspending agent and tablet binder. The technical requirements for creating stable pharmaceutical emulsions are incredibly strict, which is why E413 stability is so important. The Tragacanth fraction ensures a highly reliable drug delivery system that simply will not degrade in the harsh, highly acidic environment of the human stomach. This unparalleled stability is exactly why it serves as a foundational building block in modern tablet manufacturing. For our final section, section 5, we need to analyze the global supply chain, because the actual therapeutic grade of this medicinal resin heavily depends on exactly where and how it is harvested. When we look at the global premium supply, Iran is the absolute heavyweight. Historically, they control up to 75 to 80% of the world's premium supply. The highly arid, high-altitude provinces like Shiraz and Isfahan are the undisputed epicenters of the global Tragacanth trade. You might be wondering, why do these specific Iranian high-altitude environments produce such superior pharmaceutical-grade gum? Well, extreme high-altitude stress actively triggers increased resin production in Astragalus species. When you combine that intense environmental stress with meticulous artisanal hand harvesting techniques, where workers manually extract the delicate ribbons from the root, you yield an incredibly pure, high-potency medicinal resin. The contrast is huge when you compare the premium Iranian hand harvesting methods with standard industrial E413 gum production techniques. Hand-harvested premium ribbons command massive financial value because their pristine white color and high transparency directly indicate superior pharmaceutical-grade purity. Standard mass-produced industrial wood gums simply cannot match the precise biphasic chemical matrix provided by those premium, manually extracted ribbons. As we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. There is a deep biological irony that violent, mechanical trauma to a harsh desert shrub provides the exact protective gel matrix required to heal human digestion. It's a profound botanical paradox. And honestly, it makes you wonder, what other incredible medical miracles are currently hiding out there just waiting to be discovered inside extreme environmental survival mechanisms? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer today. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.